I'm gonna test if the sound is working, because it's just not working lately. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what the fuck that is. Okay. Alright, it sounds working now. Which is great. You really hope that this isn't going to be one of those readings. But you'll notice, okay, so this is like the 4th or 5th time that I've tried to like make this video, and it like is just not working. Like every time I get to talking about this part of like what's going on, the sound starts cutting out and I have to start over again, or I drop my phone and I have to start over again. So clearly what I'm trying to say is not meant to be said online, and we're just going to focus on the practical advice, I guess. I think it's every person for themselves. Not for nothing. I don't know. Somebody doesn't want me to say this message. That's what I know. But I'm going to get back to it. So, wait. Be patient in this time. Be patient in this time, because now is not the time for action. Now is the time for rest. So what did I say? We are probably going to be experiencing a lot of triggers. Let's get into the social life. And so I don't know if the video that like I recorded is going to be able to post with sound. If it doesn't have sound, there's no reason for me to post it. So we're going to see. But I related a story about, I had this group of friends and there was a lot of drama, and it became really split and it became really divided. And I didn't know who I could trust anymore. This is social life spirit. 3 cards maximum. That's bottom of the deck. I didn't know who I could trust anymore in that friend group. And this person, she was definitely one person that I thought I could trust. And I thought that we were cool. We never had any beef. You know what I mean? Like, there was never any issue. And in fact, the last time we spoke, everything was cool. And so yesterday, I realized that she had covertly unfollowed me. Give me a second while I restart my tiny washing machine. She had covertly unfollowed me. I wouldn't say covertly. She just had. And I was spinning out about it. I was triggered. And I was dissociating. And so what I had to do was I had to get back into my body, which required me to breathe. So, you know, trying to talk myself down was not helpful, because in that state, I'm frantic, I'm freaking out. I'm moving so fast, I'm so activated that I'm still. It's like a hummingbird, you know, the wings of a hummingbird. And so this is why, because we're getting activated for this final push over the finish line. That's all that Spirit wants to say. Spirit's like, that's all you need to say. That's all you need to tell them. You're getting activated for this final push over the finish line. It's not telling you, get up and go anywhere, get up and do anything. It's telling you, you know, the place that you need to be focusing on is within. And with share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression, as well as leap, you go first, the universe will catch you. You're being asked to, regardless of how much anybody does not like it, to choose your truth. Make the final decision to choose what is true to you. Whatever you lose by living in your truth wasn't meant to be in your life anyways. So, yeah, this isn't the time for action, especially because, as I said, we have the moon, which is today transiting through Cancer. We have Mars in Cancer throughout the entirety of the week. And we have the Sun in Taurus, sidereally, where all of this is sidereal. Okay, so this is the time for us to cross over the finish line, and this is a process that we need to let Spirit handle, because ultimately, if we know that we've done all that we can, there's not much more that we can do. And we just have to sit tight and allow it to happen. We're going through these DNA changes. We're going through these biochemical molecular changes. And we're exhausted. Okay? We're exhausted. This is why. Because, everybody's exhausted right now. And nobody knows why. First of all, the sun is in its active period. So that's just number one. Anytime we have a solar flare, that's a lot for us. But when the sun is in its active period, of course, we're getting blasted, but that's providing all these light codes that are shooting us up. Yeah, they're saying there's just things that I can't share, and that's why the audio keeps cutting out, or my phone falls down, or all of this stuff is happening at that time. But I would say to you to check in with your own inner oracle, and what you think is happening is happening. Let's just put it that way. What you think is happening, it's happening. So trust and believe that, show up for yourself as the loving, caring, kind, compassionate, integrated, disciplining mother. Show up for yourself. Give yourself what you need, which is rest, which is nourishment, which is love, kindness, and compassion. So I will go back to that story about how I was spinning out. So what I did next after I got back in my body is I kept being, my inner selves were just it doesn't matter. But that didn't really help me very much. And so I grabbed my tarot cards, and I never read for myself. Because I'm just if I read for myself, I'm afraid that my own feelings are going to get in the way. But this is actually a lesson in learning to trust myself. And this is a lesson for all of us to learn to trust ourselves. Do what it is you have been. Schoolboy Q says it on a song with 𝗬𝗓 Do all that shit you've been talking about. Where you at? Netflix on your couch. And he's talking actually to a hater, but exactly why does it, oh my goodness. Okay, well I'm just gonna try, and if it doesn't stop hitching, I'm going to call it a day. Yeah, I see. Okay, good. So don't let the haters stop you from doing your thing. Kevin G, Mean Girls. You don't want to be the loser that Schoolboy Q was talking about. Okay? You don't want to be that person. So really just lean into showing up for the fears. I got my decks out and I started shuffling. I was what happened? It would be one thing if it was just somebody that an old coworker, but this was a very nuanced situation. You know what I mean? So I was just like, what happened? I haven't even talked to this person, and like nothing's been going on to my awareness. And Spirit reminded me that like, and so my brain also, my trauma response was to create all these narratives of what could have happened, and I started getting hella paranoid and da-da-da-da-da. And Spirit's just like, no, I removed this person from your life because I don't want them having access to you when you level up. So I had them remove you from their life so that you could be removed from they could be removed from your life. Because when you get on, when you receive the blessings that I'm blessing you with, they're going to want to come back and use you. And you're too fucking nice and you don't see how that was not your friend. That person, when you were putting your reputation on the line to support and stand up for all of these people, not a single one of them stood by you. Not a single one of them checked in on you. But when they needed something from you, they were sure to be right there, right? When they decided that because they had all been fired collectively, and now they're ready to collectively stand up for one another, when I had already put my reputation on the line to stand up for all of us, not just the people that I liked, but every single one of us working at that company. I'm talking like talking to the CEOs and the COO and the CFO, to the point where over the summer the old CFO, or one of the upper management people, one of the founders, ran into me at Variety Coffee in Bushwick, and she apologized to me. So I'm not talking like, oh, I told off a manager. No. Like, I created cataclysmic change over and over and over in this company to defend the labor classes. And where were these people? But you know what? When they were ready to do that together themselves, they were all there for themselves. They all had, they all had a group chat, and they invited me, and they invited this other girl that none of them ever talked to, and none of them, after she got, like, they were laying her off. They were basically firing her, but not firing her because they didn't want to pay unemployment, so she ended up having to quit. But they put her in the group chat, all these people they put in the group chat, right? But you putting me in a group chat with somebody who antagonized and bullied me, and her little hench person who also supported her in all of that, you're putting me in a group chat with all of these people. But I should help you all. I should take my labor. At that point, it was this time 3 years ago, right as I had started the Care Network, and I was very busy doing like actual advocacy for people who really needed it. We were getting tons and tons of money in donations, tons of food donations, cooking all day long, like 8 hours over a stove, getting in a car and like going from Brooklyn to the Bronx, delivering food to food fridges that we were helping people set up. These sorts of things were the things that we were doing, creating care packages for people. And these people want me to divert my energy from doing those things to helping them tell off this company that I already was in Bloomberg talking about in defense of y'all. I already had these conversations. I should support you all, but you're not going to support me. And so I'm saying this all to say, like, yeah, it's fucked up. And I really don't care who sees it, because that's the kind of person I am. I don't care. I'm going to tell the truth. And they know what the truth is. That's the thing of it. All of these people, when they would see me on the street or whatever, would feel, it was like guilty vibes. You're guilty to talk to me because you know that you did me wrong. You know what I mean? And when I quit, even like the person who antagonized me apologized to me. Like, all of these things, they knew what they did was wrong. And stick with this story because it's happening to all of us. I thought that this other person, you know, she wasn't really a part of any of that, so I thought that was my, you know, we're still cool, right? Because I so desperately, that part of me, this me now, can tell that part of me, and my higher self can tell that part of me, like, it really doesn't matter. Like, that's not your friend. Y'all don't talk. You haven't seen this person in 2 years. She didn't come to your graduation show. She didn't congratulate you on your graduation, probably because she wasn't even following you, so she didn't even know. Like, this person is not your friend. The things that you've been going through, she was not there to support you. She's not your friend. And it's fine. It's whatever. But the traumatized me that got activated and started down the misery helix, or the trauma helix. That part of me just couldn't hear it last night, so I needed to get to the cards. I needed to. And that's the message that Spirit gave me, is like, you want to be on good terms with people so badly. You want to love and be loved so badly because you did not receive that in your community of origin. And you've been going through this long period of over a year of recognizing just how alienated, scapegoated, black sheeped you were as a child. Not just like, oh, like, I get to be in high school and now I'm like, whatever. No, like, even as a 4-year-old child having memories of alienation in the family of origin unit and then in the vaster community. You know, and a lot of that has to do with sociology. A lot of that has to do with, like, family stuff. And I've been dealing with that, and I've been showing up for it. But you know what? Like, I think people tend to forget, like, these things are not easy. It's not something that, like, I decided I wanted to do. I fought tooth and nail. I had to have waking nightmares in order to finally face the music and do the first wave of going into no contact. Like, I literally had to experience panic attacks and nightmares. I didn't want that, but I would rather be okay and be well and be happy and feel safe in my body than do what other people. I still have people telling me that essentially I'm wrong. I still have people telling me that. I don't give a fuck. I don't want the life that you have, and I don't want to make the kinds of choices that you make, so I don't really care what you have to say. You know? I'm going to make my own decisions because I know that my higher power is guiding me and leading me. I don't know who your higher power is. I don't know who you listen to, but I'm pretty sure that it's demonic shadow empire. I'm pretty sure that it's the false matrix. I'm pretty sure that actually everything that you do, everything that you say, the way that you live serves Moloch, my mortal enemy. So I'm not really interested in whatever kind of advice you have to offer me. That's how I feel. You know, and I realized the other day that, like, me channeling is a completely different vibe than just, like, everyday regular V. And so I could differentiate yesterday, like, and this morning when my higher self was just like, you need to listen up, and this is what it is. And, you know, I had to have enough grace and compassion with myself in order to have those boundaries and just be like, I actually, like, I need answers. And yeah, I still don't know. I feel like they were all kind of still resentful of the fact that I didn't join in their little group of, like, taking down these people, but they were doing that for like a year. Like, I'm trying to graduate from art school. I'm, like, trying to do the CARE network and also getting sober, and also, like, you know, I have my own shit going on. That was much more important to me than to, like, backtrack and give these people my platform again. Like, are you kidding me? No. And yeah, so then they said that me and the other person who were not replying because, you know, we hadn't talked to any of these people in so long. We were ops, we were shady, da-da-da-da-da. So I think that it probably has to do with that. But really, it just marks the end of an era. It marks the end of an era. It marks the end of a V that would tolerate that kind of stuff. That version of me got to be put to rest this morning. So I woke up, I was in a bit of a shit mood, because it's moon in Cancer, and I just want to be in bed, and I just want to be cozy, and I just want to do what I want to do. And yeah, I went to the gym, but I don't even really want to do cardio. I just want to stretch my body, you know? And like I said, there's a lot of, like, yoga's going to really help. Cardio will help, dancing will help, running will help to get this energy loose, and shake it out, you know, because there's cobwebs that need to be shaken out. But so, yeah, okay, that's quite right, yeah. So, finally, my nervous system was regulated enough that I was able to hear myself, and I was taking a shower and just having this conversation with myself of like, listen, you want to say like, oh, but I thought we were friends. That person was never your friend. And honestly, she's doing you a service of like leaving your life. That person is not your friend. She also was one of the people who never showed up for you, like when you were standing up for these people, you know, like all the things that I just said, I had to say those things to myself. And I don't care anymore. Like, I don't care. Like, it's the best thing that could have happened. Because likely I wouldn't have unfollowed her. And then these kinds of people leave the door open, not the same reason that I do, which is because, yes, I want love and care and connection. But there's also a people-pleasing thing there. There's a need for validation. You know what I mean? There's a need to know, like, oh, you like me, right? We're still friends, like, we're good, we don't have a problem. And that's understandable because that's a shadow aspect. That's a maladaptation to, like, the experiences that I had as a child. But I'm not a child anymore, and I'm certainly not that child anymore. And that child trusts me enough to allow me, that child trusts me enough that because they were freaking out and I didn't just tell them, shut up, fuck you, like, you're being crazy, da-da-da-da. Things that I would have told myself before. Because I didn't be like, okay, well, you know what, I'm going to roll a spliff and we're not dealing with this. Or, okay, gotta go to the dive bar because I need a $5 beer and shot 5 times to deal with this. You know, because I don't do things like that anymore, my inner child trusts me. And because I gave, as star mother, the inner loving parent, I gave myself what I wanted. I wanted to know. I wanted the cards. So I gave myself the cards. I don't need cards. I channel. I don't need the cards. You know what I mean? But I wanted the cards and I gave myself them. And when I felt satisfied, I went to sleep, my nervous system reset, and in the morning I was able to have a brass tacks discussion with myself, and now we're integrated. And that part of me, is laid to rest. So, yeah. The share your voice card, I feel like I talked about that a lot in the last live, but it's really just about being honest, being true, like being in your integrity. You know, even if you are not saying stuff to people, it shows through your actions. Okay, so like your sacral chakra and your throat chakra work together to basically create and express. The creative process is in the sacral and it magnetizes, and the expressive process is in the throat chakra. And that's associated with Libra, that's associated with the 7th house, but Libra is air Venus, it's masculine Venus, so it's expressional. How do I express in order to get what I want? As opposed to how do I cultivate this space in order to yield the results that I want. And honestly, it's about the cultivation of the space. So that's really what we're focusing on. And when these triggers come up, you know, as I said, don't Don't get mad at yourself. Oh my God, I thought I was over this. Write it out. Write it out. You know, maybe make a voice note of you just talking it out. Untangle that ball of thread. Because at the end of that ball of thread is going to be the root, and you can pick it out at the root. I think I've made this analogy before with hair removal. With shaving is not like an actual solution to wanting to remove your body hair. It just cuts it off at the surface, right? And it actually causes a lot of problems. It causes a lot of irritation. You might get ingrowns. You know, there's a lot of other issues that come up with just having a surface level solution. Waxing is great because when you wax, you take it out at the root. But it still always grows back, right? And my esthetician says, like, the way that the endocrine system works, if your endocrine system is healthy, the hair is always going to grow back regardless. But I am a living testament, and I can tell you this much, that laser hair removal does work. It does. And it zaps the hair follicle. And after a few treatments, like, you might not see the hair grow back for like 6 months, maybe even longer. Like, it really does work. And so I've talked about this in one of the morning medicines, but you know, that's what we do when we do violet flame over our body before we do a cord removal. It loosens it, because also with sugaring, it's actually exfoliating, so it loosens it up. Well, and my esthetician will do prep work to loosen your pores and open up those pores and exfoliate so that you will have a much easier hair removal. And that's essentially what we're doing when we do all of that, when we do all of that kind of work. So this is the last push. Okay, this is the last push. Talk about Star Mother again. We were talking about crowning over the weekend, I think. And so there's contractions, and you just have to be okay with that. You know, you just have to be okay with the contractions, and show up for the contractions. What do you do when you have contractions? I don't know. I've never had a baby, but to my awareness, I'm not a doula either. But to my awareness, not in that sense, you breathe. You breathe. You hold on for dear life to something, and you squeeze that puppy out, okay? So let's get into the cards for I feel like that's all I really have to say about that. If you want more information, go ahead and watch the live from yesterday. So this is for, what's happening here? Okay, are these the other two? No, shuffle again. Okay. These are for social life. We get the 9 of Pentacles. Yeah, as I said, we're at the end of the road. And it's really about, who's going to come over the threshold with us? Who are we going to take with us on this journey? And that's actually not really up to us. I guess that's another point that I'm making, is, that's not up to me. If it were up to me, everybody would go. But not everybody wants to go, and not everybody's meant to go. Your higher power is elevating you to a degree of knowledge, wisdom, consciousness, and you got to be confident in all of that. All of what your higher power is giving you, you got to be confident in. Okay? 9 of Pentacles. Because, as I said yesterday, that old life is over. So even though I might want to, project the same old fears and the same old narratives onto the world around me, I don't have to anymore. Oh, maybe they were talking about me, and maybe they were, and the new narrative is that I don't really care. Because honestly, the places that I'm going, they can't get into those places. And I don't mean that like in an exclusivity way. It's like consciousness. They're not on the same level of consciousness. They're not on the same frequency. So they're not going to be... I want all the smoke. I really don't give a fuck. They're not going to be coming into those spaces with me, because the key is within you. The key is your frequency, and you have to be a frequency. You have to be in alignment with the portal to get through. You have to be in alignment with the portal to get through. So you have to let go of all of those things. As much shadow work as you gotta do. As much shadow work as you gotta do. Okay? In the moment and throughout this week, so that you can be in alignment to step through that door. Don't be one of these folks out here who Schoolboy Q is asking, where are you at Netflix on the couch? You had dreams of being in the movie, but you're just instead sitting on the couch watching the movie. You didn't go through all of these things to be experiencing life like that. So don't be afraid to be who you are. Do everything in service of this version of yourself. Okay? Because Ace of Wands, this new energy is coming in. It's not yet manifested in the material, but it is coming in. And it's going to bring you into alignment with the people who are really meant for you. And I want to just point out that there's a dragon here. There's a dragon on this card too. 7 of Cups in the reverse. This is an end of all of that drama, all of that chaos. You are protected from within. These people, you know, people saw you. I think about the fact that, like, now that I have a completely different awareness of myself, and I've been, like, deprogramming myself from, like, the false matrix, but really so much of it is, like, just the fucked up shit that my end mom would say about, like, me. And I thought about this too, and it's like, well, you know, this is my story, and I'm not going to change it, and if she didn't want people to know, she wouldn't have done those things. I don't know what to tell you, and I believe that this is the only way that I can make those experiences worthwhile, is to use them to help other people. This person really did her best to completely disempower all of her children. And the specific ways in which she worked to disempower me, to the point where I didn't even think that I was beautiful. I did not really believe that. I was drunk one time when I was like 19 years old, looking in the mirror, and I like saw myself not how I see myself, but how someone else would see me. And I started crying because I was just like, for the first time I realized that I was beautiful. And people had told me that. People had told me my whole life, but she had already done such a number on me that I didn't believe it. And still, up until, you know, I started using subs to reprogram my subconscious mind, because you got to master it or it will master you, and you will be a slave to it. I started using subs to reprogram my subconscious mind, and like, wow, now I actually have like self-worth and like value myself. Like, whoa. And now I look back on it, it's like, oh my goodness, that person had a crush on me. That person liked me. And I actually liked them too, but I didn't believe that they liked me. However, I'm saying this, but this card is saying there were reasons why those people, like, even if I had like been like, oh yeah, I'm down or whatever, it wouldn't have worked. Because personally, I know that for me, like, people have seen this in my matrix, that like there were reasons why people would like me, and then finally I'd be like, okay, let's try it, and then like everything would change drastically. Okay, and I guess I'm not meant to talk about that on this platform, so that'll be for a different day. But essentially, like, there were machinations formed to keep those of us, specifically the collective that I work with, my soul tribe, the way that we were made and put onto this earth as, you know, servants of the divine in whatever way that looks like for us. It was built into the matrix for them to hurt us and for them to cause us harm. And people will meet us and, you know, they'll be normal to everybody else, but like they'll come into your contact with your energy, and because you have a special energy within you, that will activate something in them that clicks because of their matrix programming, and it will attack you. And they will be normal with everybody else, but they will have a big problem with you. And it'll be very, very rare that you find people who understand what you're going through, because you're rare and they're not. But that's over now. That's over now. And the people who, you know, you'd be like, it happens to people in different degrees, to different degrees of how integrated they are into the false matrix, how indoctrinated they are. But if they're free, if they're a free person, if they're sovereign, then they'll be on your side. They'll see it for what it is. And usually these are people who have experienced narcissistic abuse and have done a lot of research to get clear on what narcissistic abuse looks like and the experience of it. And once again, like it was pointed out, like you can't change them because they're sick. But you can have the compassion to understand, like, yo, you're sick. And I don't want that disease is contagious. I don't want anything to do with it. But, like, God bless. However, we're bypassing that programming now. We're bypassing it. We're getting free, y'all. I can't wait. It's in the atmosphere. I'm so excited. But so for outgoing energy, we have the Devil in reverse and Knight of Cups. Devil in reverse, Knight of Cups. Go forth with the intuitive awareness of what you know is coming to you. I'm too much of a bad bitch for all of this shit. I deserve better. Yes, you do deserve better. I'm too talented to work this job. Right on. Yes. All of those things that you were believing, all of the negative things that you've believed about yourself that you've worked to bypass, right on. Keep it up. Keep the faith alive and, you know, ride on, ride on. Stay on that trajectory. Do not let go. You're getting free, as I said, because we get the Devil in reverse. So the Tower, a complete decimation of these social relationships because Seven of Pentacles. So yeah, as I said, they might, and we get the Emperor. This is an opportunity, the Chariot in reverse, the Sun, and the Queen of Pentacles. This week, it's going to be conflict amongst, between people. And it might be conflict between you and another person in the 3D, but it also might be conflict between you and another person, because a lot of these are soul contracts, they're karmic contracts that you're having conflict with, and you might be like, oh my God, why do I keep thinking about this? And it's because there's a lesson, there's medicine in there for you. So ease it out so you can get the root of the problem, and you don't have to deal with it anymore. If you do, you know how to deal with it. So you can come into your power, yes. So it might not be in person, it might be also in the astrals, it might be in the ethers. That's just something that you're going to want to consider. I was planning on only being on for an hour, and then all of this shit kept happening, which is very, very annoying. Bottom of the deck, we get Queen of Wands. Yeah. So master your energy, especially your emotional energy, in order to become the master of your domain. To be a master manifester, you have to have mastered the ethers, which means that if you're not mastering your mind, your mental matrix, if you're not, okay, just 3 cards, okay? If you're not mastering your mental matrix, then I'm not dealing with those, okay? If you're not mastering your mental matrix, then you're not able to master your emotional matrix, and you're not able to master your energy and your expression, and you're definitely not going to be able to master your material universe. So this is the final push, and you might be really challenged, and you might be really triggered, and you just gotta roll with the punches. Okay, show up, keep showing up, and really don't give your energy to anything that's like not serving you. Like, if it's not, this was something that Spirit said to me today, is like, this creates those people, you know, that you want to love you so badly. They don't have what you want, but you have what they want, but they don't have what you want. And you have to be the one who's discerning enough to say no. Because there are going to be people who want what you have, who have what you want, and are willing to give it to you. And those aren't them. So it doesn't even make sense to continue down those roads. And it just gave me permission to be like, okay, I'm not going to deal with these people. You know, I hoard people because I don't want to hurt their feelings, but honestly, like, that's their business to deal with. You know, like, it's declutter is what I'm hearing. So for love, we got the Hierophant in reverse, we got Judgment, we got the Moon. And for the outgoing energy, we got the 5 of Pentacles in the reverse position. Not for nothing, all major arcana. The things I just like, it just smelled like wine. Like Sauvignon Blanc. Like, and it tasted like it. I could like feel it in my throat. What could that mean? I don't know. I don't care either. The Hierophant, Judgment, the Moon, and 5 of Pentacles. I mean, Dionysus is the Greek god of wine and merriment and debauchery, parties. But wine is more for like romance. Really what I feel like is like, you know, as I said, we're getting free, we're becoming sovereign. I think right now is not really the time, because we are going through this experience of like, this last push, as I am calling it. And we're defragging, picking out the fragments so that we can come into wholeness, getting rid of what doesn't serve us and integrating, you know, what has been transmuted and alchemized. So a lot of people don't have the wherewithal to be able to handle that kind of stuff. And so people are going to be acting wild, and they're going to be coming out of pocket perhaps. This is not the time to start picking, you know, you might relapse into your like old behavior. So this is not the time to start picking fights with people because you want attention. This is so many U-Haul trucks I'm going past. That part. We're moving on up. Moving on up. Deluxe apartment in the sky. We're moving on up. Yeah, you know, exactly. I actually channeled that song, but I think I posted it on Twitter over the weekend. Moving on up to that deluxe apartment in the sky. Moving on, evolving up to a higher degree of existence. Okay? And then we get the Fool on the other side of the Five of Pentacles in reverse as the outgoing energy. Everything, it's not falling apart, it's falling into place. And you may still feel the momentum of falling. And that might feel scary. But before, when you were falling down, at a certain point you shift perspective and now you're falling up. That actually happens, or like, that happens in Alice in Wonderland, where she's just falling for so long, and she just gets kind of used to it. And then at a certain point, no, so that's different. There's another analogy that I want to make, but they're telling me not to make it, so I'm not going to. But I'm just going to say, what have I been saying? What have I been saying? Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. I think y'all can figure it out. The Moon, your divine counterpart is still shrouded in mystery. And until they're going to become clear. They're going to become clear. Don't worry about that, but it's not this week. Five of Pentacles in reverse. Everything is, at this point, this is what I see. Falling into place. You're no longer falling apart. Now you're falling into place. Okay? Yeah, that's what it is. Not falling up, but falling into place. Things fall apart to fall back together and to be made new in their right way. But yeah, things had completely new cycles, timelines to go down. Four of Swords in the reverse position. I have like a negative association with the number 4 because like I am not a fan of Cancer energy. But I think this is saying like this is not the time to ruminate. This is the time to be hopeful. This is the time to be dreamy. This is the time to be like, yes, love does come true. Happily ever after does happen for me. You know, oh, and we get the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck. No more Seven of Wands energy. But yeah, we get the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck, and then we had the Seven of Wands under that and the King of Pentacles. All of the challenges that you were facing and that you might be facing this week are bringing you into divine union with your counterpart. And, you know, when we say that and you are like, oh, I'm already in a relationship, that just means that, like, your relationship's about to get better. So that's exciting. Oh, I'm going to drink some water. I'm going to wet my whistle. That's another thing. I would recommend vocal exercises, especially if you have throat chakra stuff. I'm doing a challenge with myself where I do the vocal exercises every day because that gets loose energy in your body. I shared that in the last live. I just wanted to share that again. And my throat is really tightening up. So we're doing money matters. There's someone in the collective who feels really, really... You gotta express yourself more. If you have someone that you have a secret from, you need to tell someone. You don't need to tell them, but you need to tell someone. Okay. Can you hear me? No? This is very frustrating. Okay. So, I don't know. I don't know what to tell y'all. This is so annoying.